Okay, so I asked ChatGPT how stressful remodeling and building is. Because I didn't know. I mean, I know from personal experience because I have lived it, getting bids from contractors and not really knowing how much things cost or what the hell was going to happen when they showed up, the steps involved, how long it would take, what materials, I had the options to choose. And I assumed that was a pretty universal feeling. And it turns out I wasn't wrong. And here are a couple of things that jumped out at me. 85% said that they felt at least some stress during their renovation. And then 59% put planning in their top 3 most stressful steps. So even over kind of demo and building execution. And so how do you make that planning part less stressful? I mean, surprises are going to pop up. Things will take longer than you think probably. But most of the stress of the planning portion just comes from not getting clear on the design, not knowing the materials you can or should use, and not knowing the basics of the building steps relevant to the project. And so this is basically like creating a plan for your plan. And there's this great quote from an author, E.L. Doctorow, and he said, "It's like driving a car at night. You can only see as far as your headlights, but you can make the whole trip that way." And so you just need to start seeing a little bit into the distance, and that will get you far enough to where you can start seeing a little bit more. And you can do that the whole way until the end of the project. And so for me, that headlight beam breaks down into these 3 things. So getting clear on the design is the first thing. Secondly, the broad kind of steps involved in the construction process. And then 3, a short kind of list of action items that you can kind of move forward with. And so let's walk through each of these and use this bathroom remodel we did to kind of illustrate the points. And so clarity on the design first. If you haven't worked through that design framework videos and the free template that we have, and you're starting a project, I really do think that those can help you. And so our design framework landed us on a few specifics. Cherry plywood for the walls and cabinetry. We were using that throughout the rest of the house. Micro cement floors. We're doing that in the other bathroom and most of the rest of the house. And then mixed metal fixtures. So we wanted to kind of combine stainless and brass or copper where we could. And so knowing those things, it doesn't matter whether you're doing a lot of it yourself or if you're hiring things out, you're not just telling someone, make it nice, or what options would you recommend. You know what you want, and that's a huge first step. Now, secondly, is kind of getting the broad sequence of events for the construction. And if you've never kind of remodeled something, in this case, a bathroom, just watch some videos. I'll have a link below to kind of a home remodeling DIY guy who has a ton of videos, super helpful. I wouldn't say it's a design channel, but he does a great job of walking through the steps involved for a lot of DIY projects. And you don't need to pay attention to kind of all the details at this stage, but just get a feel for the sequence of events and what's happening, what's the labor involved. And so in this case, we're going to need to remove stuff, right? We need to take out the fiberglass shower, we need to take out the cabinetry, remove the floors, so it's a lot of demolition. Start formulating questions in your mind. What of this do I want to do? And how am I going to get rid of the debris? And then what's behind kind of this fiberglass shower and this cabinetry? Water lines, right? So we're going to need to cap some off. We're going to need to extend some. That probably means we're going to need some plumbing help. We were also moving this washer and dryer into this space, which means we needed some electrical lines in here. So we're going to need the help of an electrician. And then we're going to need, after that kind of rough-in process is done, we're going to need to put all new stuff in. And that's going to vary. The sequence of events is going to vary depending on what you're doing. But we're going to need to put in new floors. We're going to need to put in new walls. We're going to need to put in new cabinets. And so then you can start formulating, all right, is that stuff that I want to do, or am I going to need help with those items too? And so all of those questions that are percolating as you're kind of watching these videos and understanding the sequence of events, that kind of skeleton can form an action item checklist. All right, so you can write down, I need to figure out how to demo a fiberglass shower. Decide how to get rid of that debris. Am I going to haul it off or pay someone, or get a big dumpster? I need to call plumbers and electricians and get bids. And then you need to start sourcing those materials, checking lumber places or specialty shops near you, especially for bigger items like lumber that cost a lot to ship. Much better to find places that are close to you. Start looking online for smaller things like the fixtures you want to use or the lights you want to use. And then when it comes to actual layout and design, start sketching and kind of figuring out how you want it to lay it out and what the design of the cabinetry or shelves looks like. There are a million woodworkers on YouTube. Find someone with a style you like and see what they've done for their storage areas, and see how that can inspire you to do it yourself, or at least have a design for it that you can hire a carpenter to help you with. So now it feels like you have a little light shining on things and a place to go. So I hope that helps. If you need more personalized help with trying to kind of figure out those beginning stages or questions to ask a contractor, let us know. You can find out how to chat with us by going to the site.